So, I've had multiple people make me aware of a drama, and drama is in massive quotes, revolving around someone by the name of Twisted Doctor, formerly known as Sleepy Kink. Is that how it's pronounced? Is it Sleepy Kink or is it Sleepy King? I don't know, we won't be saying that name many times in this video, so doesn't really matter anyway. Twisted Doctor, who I'll be calling Bones from now on, was a very well-known animation meme YouTuber due to their unique art style and, I guess, edginess. That's usually what people point out when they talk about them, that they're edgy. Now, from what I can tell, the accusations being thrown around are the following: promoting and fetishizing rape and abuse, being racist, and grooming. Now, from what I can tell, most of the accusations are coming from a card called holdtwisteddoctoraccountable.card.co, so we'll be going through that today. The link for this card is in the description. Just a warning, this card does have some censored, not safe for work images in it, so look with caution. So, I went through the entire card as well as reading the documents that are linked in the card, and it's interesting. Not interesting as in thought-provoking, but interesting as in what the fuck did I just read? I mean, I guess you could consider it thought-provoking if the thoughts in question are pure fucking confusion. So, without further ado, let's actually take a look at this card.
Warning: some of the topics mentioned within this site may be sensitive or offensive to some audiences. This includes, but is not limited to, rape, sexual assault, vor, mention of grooming, racism, and slurs. Twisted Doctor's problematic history.
The second someone uses the word problematic in this context unironically, I lose all hope for what the person is claiming.
The purpose of this card is not to defame or attack the persons involved. This was made to inform people about Twisted Doctor's harmful behaviors over the years, especially his actions involving minors. He has never taken accountability for his actions and guilt trips his way out of things.
The whole bit about Twisted Doctor not taking any accountability for his actions is actually actively contradicted by multiple other things in this card, but we'll get into that later.
If you have any experiences with Bones you would like to make light of, please feel free to message me on Discord. Thank you in advance. Twisted Doctor Sucks 6681.
What a mature username.
This card was created by a user who has never had interactions with Bones whatsoever, but they would like to remain completely anonymous.
I just love it when users who make serious claims about people are too much of a coward to say who they are. What, you scared that making serious claims about people will negatively affect your reputation? This becomes hilarious later on when you see something they say near the end of the card. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe the evidence in this card is great. Oh, I wish.
Who is Twisted Doctor? Twisted Doctor, it, is a 21-year-old artist from Italy. He is well known for his animations on YouTube. It is also the creator of Doll Eye, a RPG horror game, and the studio behind the game itself, Dreamsteed. It goes by the names Bones or Terry. May 2017.
Oh god. This isn't gonna be what I think it's gonna be, is it?
On May 5th, 2017, a now defunct channel released a video titled The Sleepy Kink Rant. The video itself can still be found on the Internet Archive. At first, the video seemed like a joke, poking fun at how he used to draw most of his characters, and giving a critique on how he should draw from different angles, use different comic layouts. However, after talking about his art, the video dives into a section called Rape and Sexual Assault Content. In the past version of its passion project, he put his characters in situations where rape/assault is the joke.
And I won't be reading out this comic, but you can just pause to read if you want.
Using rape as a joke is demeaning to victims and promotes rape culture, making it seem like no more than a joke and not as big of a deal than it already is. He was 13 when his webcomic was published.
1. So the comic wasn't made in 2017, it was made in roughly 2014. 2. So it was what I thought. You're blaming a child, a literal fucking child, for not understanding the seriousness of dark subjects? Are you fucking shitting me right now? They were 13. 13! I sure as hell didn't understand dark subjects and how to properly handle them at 13. I'm just gonna say this bluntly, basically everything in this section can be dismissed because they were around the ages of 13 to 16, and there's no proof that any of this stuff holds up in the present day, so I don't care. But because I'm so nice and cool and awesome, I'll go through it anyway, just to be transparent, and because I have more shit to say about it.
But he was 16 when his fetishization became a problem. While on topic, the earliest available version of his Tumblr page on the Wayback Machine, you're greeted with this as the caption for his page. Skrill, male, gay. Warning, you may find triggering content such as NSFW, abuse, violence, incest, etc. I am not here to hurt anyone, but just talk about my fictional characters. If you can't stand it, just get out or ignore my content. Thanks.
What is wrong with this caption? Like, really, please don't tell me you're one of those people who think it's bad to portray themes of sexual assault in a story, no matter how it's being portrayed.
Throughout his Tumblr, there are multiple posts that mention rape, incest, war, pedophilia, etc.
What's wrong with talking about vor? Like, really, it's never explained why this is an issue. If it has to do with their age, then 1, that should have been mentioned directly, and 2, that wouldn't make them a bad person, so what is even the point in mentioning it?
He also has drawn non-con, which I will not put here even though I have the drawings themselves.
They literally did put the non-con in the card, so I don't know why they're saying this as if they didn't put the non-con in the card when they did put the non-con in the card, but that's besides the point.
He attracted a fan base of people around 13 to 18, but it also attracted a bunch of weirdos too. How?
Now, I'm just gonna show you all these images. I won't read them out because there are a lot of images and most of them just amount to, I'm a child who doesn't understand how to deal with serious topics. But there is a few that I do want to specifically make note of. This screenshot right here is literally just talking about why a character raped another character in his story. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. Yeah, guys, contrary to what many people say, you can write rapist characters in your story. There is nothing inherently immoral about that. It entirely depends on how that character is written or portrayed. Mystery and Arthur being rapists is not the problem here. The problem is that they're not being portrayed in a mature way. That is the issue here. And this one is just saying, hey, I have dark humor, so unfollow me if you don't like it. Are you really gonna look me in the eyes and tell me that a child having dark humor is evil? Really? Then there's some censored, not safe for work images here, which I won't be going into. If you're over the age of 18, feel free to go take a look yourself, but it's really not anything super interesting or super worth noting.
After being called out, Save Sleepy Kink appeared throughout the animation meme community that summer. The only proof I have of this happening is a Tumblr HTML screenshot. The video has since been pulled down from public view. He even created a secondary channel in case his old one would get taken down. This is due to copyright strikes and another drama within the animation meme community at the time. While some believed he should be forgiven for his actions, other people around the internet weren't gonna let him off the hook that easily. Y'all, I'm telling you this right now. I don't support nor like Sleepy Kink, and honestly, yikes if you are defending any of his actions. Trigger warning for rape. Please be careful reading onward. Cracks knuckles. Here goes nothing. To any of you out there who want to defend him, hear me out for a second and maybe rethink your position. First and foremost, being a teenager, 15, is not an excuse for hurtful actions. Just because you're a minor doesn't mean you're exempt from criticism, backlash, or consequences. 15 is an old enough age to be held accountable for the things you do, and I'm sure Sleepy Kink is self-aware and self-knowing of the content he puts onto DeviantArt, YouTube, etc. Second, this isn't a status that'll end with now go harass him, because things like kill yourself and saying stupid, useless shit like that helps neither party. If any position wants to be taken seriously, they need to respectfully talk about their feelings with real arguments. Also, if you're trying to get someone to understand what they're doing is toxic, kill yourself isn't going to accomplish anything, so... Okay, onward. First of all, Sleepy Kink is a very bad influence on kids and people in general. I understand that he said that he doesn't support these things in real life or even apologized, But that isn't the main problem. The main problem is glorifying and fetishizing something that is very traumatic to many people and making a joke out of it. If you wish to handle a character with that type of characteristic, it shouldn't be treated as a joke.
See, even the people you're citing think that it's okay to write a racist character. Like, come on.
Or just as something that's edgy. Many of you young kids out there may not understand this, but rape culture is very real and very afflicting thing.
I'm not gonna read this whole paragraph about rape culture just to save some time. If you want to read it yourself, just, pause and read or go to the original card.
Whether any of you like it or not, media and what we are exposed to does have an influence on us and society as a whole. Am I saying reading about someone killing someone is going to immediately make you want to kill someone? No. What I'm saying is joking and not serious treatment over the topic normalizes it and adds culture which ultimately leads to things like victim blaming or lol, she was raped. Thousands of rapists get off scot-free, and the victims are shunned into silence because of rape culture. This brings me back to Sleepy Kink, who is perpetuating rape culture on impressionable kids.
Wanna know who else was an impressionable kid? Bones was. No fucking shit. A child isn't gonna be a good role model for other children on the internet. Nor should a child have that responsibility. But then that begs the question of if these actions were caused by being negatively influenced by adults. Is nobody gonna acknowledge that possibility at all? This whole, this kid is a bad influence can become extremely victim-blamey real fucking fast. For people who are new here, I'm 15 currently, turning 16 in September. When I was younger, 11 or 12, I had unrestricted access to the internet, and I was surrounded by influences that, influenced me to act a certain way. I was exposed to creepypasta content, which, because I was a young child, I sucked that shit up like a sponge. My OCs reflected that, and the way I thought reflected that. I even at one point didn't take real murder cases seriously because I thought Jeff the Killer was cool. The reason why this behavior and thought process stopped is that I became surrounded by positive influences. So yes, I'm 15 and may have changed since I was 12, but not everyone is going to have the positive influences needed to become better at that age. Yes, most kids do usually go out of it eventually, but it completely depends on the individual when that is.
You argue kids aren't that impressionable? Take a look in the mirror. Most people I found defending him are young and trying to make excuses for his actions and age. Is Sleepy Kink aware that he is contributing to rape culture? Probably not. After all, he's 15 and most likely ignorant about several things he's doing. Does that mean he's in the clear for being ignorant? Absolutely not. If he was remorseful about any of his actions, I'd argue he would have been treating the topic less disturbingly by now.
Wait, so you're saying that he's probably unaware about his actions and now you're saying that he should be remorseful? You can't be remorseful about actions you're unaware that you're doing or actions that you don't know are an issue. You have to tell them that first. That's not how that works. Why are you expecting someone to be remorseful if you also think they're unaware of what they're doing?
And I mean this. Is there anything that Mystery wouldn't rape himself?
Okay, you know what? That one made me giggle when I first read it. That one gets a pass.
I'm sure that if you've been keeping up with this drama, you've probably seen these. Let's analyze some other things taken off his blog recently. It's okay to like and enjoy villain characters, as long as you understand that they are villains for a reason and their actions should not be excused. The main problem is the view or idea that having a character as a rapist is cool and edgy.
See, I agree here. I think the way the character of Mystery? Was it Mystery? I don't even fucking know anymore. Literally all of their characters seemed to be rapists at that time. But, yeah, the way the character was portrayed was not okay in my opinion. I do think there's a right way to portray a character like that, and I really don't see that many issues with this little post here being shown in the card. The issue is that it's being shown by the card years after they've already changed from this behavior. Is the implication the card is making that they haven't? Because if so, I'd love to see proof of behavior like this being continued in the present day. is it that they still have these characters? Because if that's the case, then you would have to prove that these characters still have the traits that they had when Bones was 13 to 16. Because, trust me, characters change a lot. You can tell I'm speaking from experience. We don't talk about how Wendy looked when I was 12.
Like I mentioned, rape is a very serious and sensitive topic. I'm glad he feels bad for the jokes, and I'm glad he started adding warnings to his videos. Yet, you are all still defending him. Yet you are saying that people had no right to criticize him. Some of you are saying he didn't need to take those actions at all. You are wrong! I don't know why that's in bold, but it's in bold, so I'm reading it in bold. Sleepy Kink is not innocent and is very much guilty for all of the above. I wish that he treated the topic with more respect and wish he understood that what he is contributing to and why it's harmful. I wish his supporters did too. I was impressionable at 13 to 14, and I admit I was very closed-minded and sheltered for this stuff and many other things. I grew up and learned from that. Excusing harmful actions as I have edgy and dark humor isn't an apology. Change is the best apology, and he has not changed.
This is really funny since now, in the present day, it seems that he has changed. God, this whole section is fucking bullshit.
You all telling him, "Oh no, poor baby, it's okay," isn't helping either. Sometimes your inspirations aren't who they're all cracked up to be, and they make mistakes. You need to stop making excuses and getting angry at people who have very valid criticisms and concerns for his content and who exactly it is reaching. I don't think that young teens can't think for themselves, but I do think they are heavily biased and can sometimes heavily idolize an individual, and that clouds their judgment. Feel free to add on or get mad at me, I don't care.
Then they just show an article about rape culture. I won't be reading it. Again, just pause to read if you want to take a look at it.
I don't remember whether or not Bones had formally apologized for this behavior. I would assume he did because of the hashtag Save Sleepy Kink video. The drama abruptly stopped after Bones made light of the situation and everyone went their own ways. 2021. Racism allegations. On October 23rd, 2021, a former moderator and friend of Bones, Web/Miles, came out on Twitter about his racist remarks and actions. A thread. Hello. If you've seen me before, you probably saw me in the official doll-eye/Twisted Doctor server as a server mod, i.e. mod cell, mod oneslur, etc. And if you're wondering why I left, here's why. To start things off, last year, after he had just turned 19, I was in a group VC with him and other mutuals of mine while I was busy playing Minecraft and just listening to their conversation. A mutual suddenly brought up their mom, and Squirrel out of nowhere said, "What, is he gonna call me an N-word?" And I suddenly heard everyone burst out laughing, including him. I admit I did laugh out of shock. I'm sorry if that upset you. I just used the thing very ironically and the word itself sucks. I didn't know it made you uncomfy. You really could have just said anything else you could reclaim instead of that. Yeah, I agree, it was in very bad taste, and you have your right to be upset at me if you are. But I just want you to know that I'd never make serious use of that word.
So they said the N-word and then immediately apologized for it. Now, I know that someone should not be using the N-word, especially at 19, but I will say that there hasn't been any proof that they've done this recently, and they have also apologized multiple other times in this card. We'll get into that.
But after reading what he had said, I felt extremely heartbroken and betrayed and left the call. Even though this was a year ago, I only now decided I wanted to completely break the mutual with him after brewing in my thoughts for a while. There has been multiple times he would make racist or anti-black comments the whole time while we were friends for a few years. I was maybe 15, 16 at the time. One I could name off the top of my head was I was in a call with him while he was drawing. He began to write the word N-I-G down in his character's speech bubble, and a mutual told him to stop, and he did. Another time, after the Hall at R was dropped and his poor apology was said, I was in the VC with him late at night. I could hear Squill repeatedly say, "Black people be like, black people be like," and I silently started to have a panic attack.
There is literally no proof for any of what's being said here, so guess what? I don't fucking care. Oh, also, the card says that this was in 2021, but actually this was in 2020. The post was in 2021, but they're saying that it happened a year ago, meaning it happened in 2020. This fucking card can't even get the dates right. They also didn't get the date right for the shit that happened when they were 13. That was in 2014, not 2017. Oh my god.
Because after that hard R was said, I was terrified he was going to say something offensive. I was trying to tell him to cut it out, but couldn't since I was panicking too hard. Eventually, I told one of my other mutuals in the call to tell him to stop. And then, on December 22nd, I got my first actual apology after 3 months.
Oh, so we're just gonna completely ignore when they apologize to you right after it happened? Okay then, fine. Maybe that apology just wasn't heartfelt enough for you or something.
I said a bad word once, be careful. I did apologize afterwards, but be very careful. Oh, those were vague, honestly, but the ones in the mod chat, on the other hand, were kinda hinting there. I want to be honest, as much as it scares me. I'm scared, I'm very scared and disappointed for what I have done, and I can't forgive myself for all the times I've hurt you. I feel like ever since I made some insensitive jokes, you don't like me very much, and you don't feel comfortable around me, and that makes me feel guilty because you don't deserve this. You don't deserve to have something that comforts you associated with a person that has hurt you so many times and keeps on accidentally doing it to this day. What I did was truly bad. My brain is fucked up due to all the trauma, and I ended up making gross and fucked up jokes, and this made me a really bad person. I'm afraid that if one day I'll hurt you so much that you'll hate me, it'll be over for me because I really did do something cruel in your presence, and I'll never forgive myself for it, even if I try my best to be better and learn from it. I know it's heavy, but I really wish for us to be on good terms and comfortable with each other because I actually think you're super cool and fun to hang out with. Maybe I'm too paranoid. Sorry if that's the case. I am sorry. When I saw my chat being muted, I realized something was off. I'm not trying to scare you. I will try to be seen as the nicest person I can be. I want to provide comfort to a person. I don't want to be scary.
Remember when, in the beginning of the card, it said that he never took accountability? This is him taking accountability. What the fuck are you expecting from him? A public apology? Oh look, he did that too. Twice. We'll get into that later.
And then here's me again, talking with him about 2 weeks ago about the whole racism shit I've been putting up for years from him. I think it would help clearing up some misunderstandings. You're free to reply to this when you want, or even not reply if you don't feel it's right for you. You can tell me what I've done to hurt you, and I will be completely honest and open to anything. You can trust that I'll personally remain calm throughout the whole convo, because I'm mostly concerned for your well-being and would like to help if possible. Did blank or blank tell you mainly why I wanted to cut you off? It was kind of vague. They didn't want to cross your boundaries. I do know one part, but everything else is a blur. Alright, well, mainly part of it is dealing with your racism this whole entire time we were friends. Fucking blows dick. The times in the old mutual server, blank had to tell you to cut it out when you were writing the words NIG in Mago's speech bubble in a voice call. Or how about the other time when you said the hard R in the voice chat just last year, and everyone, including you, laughed about it in a call as I left. And a couple months after the incident, you proceeded to say, black people be like, repeatedly in the fucking call when I was silently having a panic attack over it and I had to ask blank to tell you to stop. Yeah, I gave you plenty of chances and you took advantage to make jokes about black people and hope it'll slide, or you'll get a couple of funny laughs in while also having 2 black fucking friends in your presence, as well as me in the call while the hard R was dropped. You fucking laughed over it. All of you did. And the time I DM'd you about the black human mystery and how I didn't like it since they were drawn hanging from a noose most of the time. You admitted you don't care much about history, geology, etc. I don't care. You honestly even try to read up about history on African Americans instead of having me spoon feed you information about it, or you wanting to fuck up again and or you waiting to fuck up again and I have to come in to save the day to teach you because you won't pick up a book or Google or look up a couple of words in Google about African American struggles.
So I'm assuming the part about human mystery being black and the nooses is referring to lynchings, when that's not how that works. Nooses don't just refer to lynchings, they're also a symbol of suicide or mental illness. Unless there was actual racist intent that you could prove, who fucking cares if they had a black character that happened to be hanging from a noose? That doesn't automatically refer to lynchings.
It's telling, because it seems like to me you just don't give a fuck if you don't put forth the effort to learn about history and racism yourself, and instead let other black people teach you themselves, when you yourself don't even try at all. Some other shit, me again. Second to last image is the final message, and the last one is me again. God, I'm fucking tired. It makes me wonder how many times you've said the N-word or any variation of it while being mutuals with me these past few years without me knowing. Behind my back, this fucking sucks. And the fact that I endured your racist, bigoted bullshit for years is astonishing in itself. I hope to God that no black person touches you with a 12-foot pole. I felt safe with you. You were a great friend, and then you decided to ruin it with your racism, and it pissed me off because I am terrified of being hurt by another close friend.
I'm so confused. I genuinely have no idea what they're expecting from Bones at this point. Genuinely. He already apologized. Why is he still being scolded? I genuinely want Webb to directly tell me what in the ever-loving fuck they were expecting Bones to do. Now, if Webb didn't accept Bones' apology, that's fine. But wanna know what should happen next in that situation? You go your separate fucking ways, and you sure as hell don't make a public call-out post about it. Oh my god, this is stupid. This is literally stupid friend drama, and this person trying to keep scolding them after their apology, expecting them to, go back in time and stop them from saying those shitty things? Like, what are you expecting from them? Oh my god, this makes me so fucking angry.
And this screenshot too. I panicked because why would you say this shit out in the open after a couple months after it happened? I got so angry about it and pissed that you just said what I thought, slightly hinted at the Doll Eye server, and I talked to a mutual about how upset I was over it. I myself had to delete your messages. And then this shit. The first sentence talking about yourself and how you are scared in this shitty apology when I should be the one who's scared. And then using your trauma as an excuse to say the hard R and be racist. I have trauma too, and you don't see me saying racist shit, do you? That's the thing though. I think the issue was ignorance, as in lack of knowledge, because I didn't have the idea of the extent of how much I hurt people. I did learn this though, and I have quit that behavior since then. I am not putting the blame on others. I am simply trying to explain my mindset at the time. People validated me for saying horrid shit, and that's what didn't make me fully realize how horrible the implications behind the word is. I will never quit apologizing for it, even when we'll stop hanging around. It'll stay on my conscience. I was a gigantic idiot, and I'm trying each day to not be what I was back then. The second screenshot is not referred to our situation as far as I remember, but I understand the panic. I apologize. In the last screenshot, when I mentioned how I was scared, it meant how I was scared of having hurt people, because it's the last thing I want to do. I did not mean that I'm scared of you. I apologize for the misreadable text. I have never meant to use my trauma as an excuse to say these words. It'll never be an excuse. I just use it as an explanation to express that trauma is deeply rooted in the behavior that taught me to say horrible things when I didn't intend them to be horrible. I care. I really do care, but it's so difficult for me to get across. I wish I could let you know that, but I don't know what's the right way to say it. Is there a way I can communicate that well? Before we stop talking, I just want to make sure I have fully gotten the message across that I genuinely do care about you, and that when I said those words, they didn't express my thoughts on black people. It still doesn't excuse them, but I just want to let you know I've never had any against you and or black people. Not mad. I know those messages sound cold, but I come from a place of wanting the situation to be better, you know?
What's this? Him holding himself accountable? You know, that thing the card stated they never did? Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I think I said my piece on everything, and thank you for answering my questions and shit. You've brought me nothing but pain, and I hope you forever feel guilty over what you've done last year and how my trust was shattered because of it. And yes, you got your word across. I'm not going to answer anything else because I'm already tired at this point after holding this in for a couple years and having to vent multiple times about it recently to prevent myself from exploding. I am done here, and I am done with you. See ya.
But you weren't done with him. You made the call-out post. All this has proved is that Bones is willing to admit he fucked up and apologize to the people he hurt. The post in question didn't accept the apology, which again is fine, but that doesn't mean he didn't apologize and hold himself accountable.
A while after the thread was posted, Bones made a burner account and quote-tweeted/commented on the thread. Even Veg posted about it in a small 2-piece thread. Here, he is basically blaming Webb for hurting him by coming out and saying that the context of the situation is bent and twisted.
Where is literally any proof that this is Bones? Anyone could have made this account and pretended to be him. This doesn't prove anything.
To whoever is reading this, if you have things to ask, just talk to me. I am available to talk and grow always. Just don't blindly believe things with propped and bent, twisted context, and then share it without even asking the other person for their part. The internet is baffling.
If this is Bones, then, yeah, he's kinda got a point here. You shouldn't believe shit like this when the context is cropped, and honestly, it does seem like that context may be missing.
I am a stupid sack of shit, and it'd be best for me to keep my mouth closed. My friends will all be disappointed in me for letting myself have a crisis out in the public like this, but I have to get it out of my system how much you are hurting me and others. Here's another thread made on the burner account still blaming Webb. Webb used to go by Cell. To who is claiming I am making an exception to victimize myself, I am not. I am just trying to explain that both of mine, other people's, and Cell's hurts can coexist. My hurt is real, their hurt is real. I wanted to communicate my hurt to them because they didn't know.
Now, assuming this is Bones, this isn't them blaming Webb though. They're just saying that they've been hurt by the situation too, and if context truly was missing in that thread, then yeah, I do think they have the right to be hurt.
They took it as a personal offense and publicized it with heavily out of context screenshots. I need to protect myself too because there's a line of what I can sit back and watch. We are all humans and no one here is the bad guy and the good guy. We both have hurt each other and it's a gray situation. If you claim I am pointing the finger, making Cell out to be the bad guy, or victimizing myself, you are bending my words in your head to fit that narrative. Of course, I'm going to sound like a liar if you read what I say and go, that's a lie. In my case, nothing I say would really be worth reading because it wouldn't change anything, and that's okay. If you don't want to believe it, I'm not forcing you to, but at least don't push it on me. The moment Cell steps back and starts to talk to me like adults instead of publicizing things, I will no longer need to add my part to the public as well. But if someone makes private situations public, bends them to extreme degrees, and make you out to be a racist dipshit, and your old friends believe it without even talking to you and immediately turn against you and join the bandwagon, would you just sit back and say nothing? I know I said I would let it go, but waking up and still seeing my words getting bent in here made me feel the strong urge to correct whatever misunderstanding is going on. But I have to understand that it's too late to get rid of the doppelganger that Cell is fabricated. I miss a lot of the people that have seen this fabricated perception of me and decided to leave or turn against me without confronting me. but maybe that goes to prove I wasn't that worth to them in the first place. I don't know. I suppose it won't matter in like 20 years. If there are still things to address, I will probably end up doing it, but I am losing a lot of energy over this. I don't know why people are even here. Anyways, I am going to actually let this go now. My expectations of Cell realizing the extent of what they are doing is actually on the floor. Not much point in dragging it on. If they surprise me, that's cool, but I really have no hope that they will stop doing this to people. Remember, Cell, this is not only about me and you. You are hurting several people. I've seen your friends panicking over the way you handle a situation, and I am very defensive of them, which is why I am mostly here.
Again, just giving you the benefit of the doubt that this is, in fact, Bones. This isn't him blaming anyone. He's just giving his side to the story. If Webb is allowed to make a public statement, Bones should be allowed to as well.
With that said, I'll just go on in my life and accept that there will just be a twisted perception of me in people's heads that you have created. I cannot do much to fix it. I know inside that I never meant to hurt anyone and that I have learned from every time you told me off. Maybe that'll be enough for me. But until then, I'm just going to have to handle my deteriorated brain. A conversation between the burner account and Webb's main account was posted on the same date as well.
I won't be reading out all of these, so just pause to read, I guess. If this really is Webb and Bones in this conversation, then yeah, this does seem like Webb is being kinda two-faced. This is context that was missing from the original thread. But of course, the card is all upsetty spaghetti over them coming out with their side, because are these callouts really ever unbiased? Of course they're not.
He even apologized publicly.
They haven't taken accountability, my ass.
Even going as far as starting a donation stream with all donations going to NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, which is a civil rights group started in America to achieve justice for black people. It's ironic how he was called out for being racist towards black people and then later tries to redeem himself by making donations towards an African American civil rights group.
Okay, let me get this fucking straight. Bones did racist things, apologized for them privately multiple times, apologized for it publicly, and made donations towards a black civil rights group. And apparently they're still bad because I guess they're trying to redeem themselves. Which, yeah, they are. Is that not what you want them to do? Oh, right, you don't want them to change. You just want them to lose their following so they can go sulk in the corner. Of course, when someone tries to make up for their harmful actions, you throw a little fit about it because you don't want to see him change. You want to humiliate him. So when he does something good, you have to twist it to be bad so you can further make him look worse than he actually is.
Plus, he once drew his character Alfred saying the N-word back in 17.
I don't fucking care if they made a character say the N-word when they were 16. I really don't at this point. It was in 2017.
About a year ago, I have said some things that have hurt several people. At the time, I believed using racist comments as edgy jokes around my friends was an okay thing to do, but it really wasn't. Regardless of my intent, words are a really powerful tool. As a consequence, I have harmed people with the things I have said. I didn't realize the harm I was causing at the time, and I am going to use this as my opportunity to apologize. Since then, I've learned that racism in any way, shape, or form is not funny. Even when you think you're doing no harm with things like this, you are. Saying derogatory things to any group that is heavily discriminated against is causing direct harm to them. I deeply regret having taken part in this. Everyone is a human before anything else, and people don't deserve to be mistreated over their race. As powerful as words are, actions speak louder than words. I would like to do whatever I can to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and I'd like to make up to everyone who has been affected. To the people involved in the situation, I'm sorry that you had to hear those words come out of my mouth, and I'm sorry for the damage I've done. If you are no longer comfortable around me, that is completely understandable. All I hope is that you can find peace and closure in your lives. In 5 days, 10/30/2021, I was planning to show something I've been working on with some people for DE CH1's first anniversary in a live stream, and I have decided to host charity donations plus donating out from my pocket as well during this occasion. After that, I plan on using my platform to raise awareness. If there is a specific way I can help out, let me know. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I promise to continue to better myself. I will make mistakes, for I am human, but each day I will try my best to be the best version of myself and make a positive impact on the people around me, and I will make sure not to harm people in the same way I did back then. Love you all.
Aw, isn't this wholesome? Someone learning from their mistakes and using their platform to spread awareness on Black issues and donating to Black civil rights groups? How nice! Oh, wait, we're supposed to hate them for this? Okay then. I don't care what anyone says. This shit is genuinely heartwarming, and the fact that they've put effort and money into changing their behavior and helping others is fucking awesome. That's a lot more than I can say about other people who've done racist shit in the past.
2022. Grooming allegations / talking in sexual contexts with minors. On November 15th, 2022, Web came out with another document, this one instead focusing on 4 separate with TD's inappropriate behavior around minors. A day later, an anonymous individual came out with their own document. I suggest you read both documents as they contain information crucial to understanding the next part, but I'll just post what I feel is important from both documents.
So, I read both documents, and we'll be coming back to those a bit later.
I, Web, was in an official Doll Eye Discord server, mod 2020 to 2021, and former friend of Bones, 2018 to 2021. 1 year ago, I did have problems with Bones' racism, but I will not be going over this again since I already talked about it previously. Before the official Doll Eye server, there was another server made in October in 2017 named Mystery's Stomach, very nice name, before disbanded on May of 2020. My group of friends and I somehow managed to get into the group chat with Bones and befriend him. This group chat was named Triple Threats. When we were friends with him, he would often talk about very inappropriate topics in front of us despite him being 17 and the rest of us being 13 to 16.
No evidence of this. Of course, that would just be asking too much of Web, now would it?
The main server in Mystery's Stomach had an NSFW channel open to the 13-plus community, which was only removed a few months before the server was closed. In 2020, after the Mystery Stomach server was abandoned, a new server named Official Doll Eye Discord server was created. During the time, he was 19 to 20, and his content was directed towards an audience of 15+. The server was predominantly minors and included various instances of him acting inappropriately in front of minors. During 2020, in the official Doll Eye Discord server, Squirrel started to make sexual innuendos about Guy, Doll Eye character, genital size just for jokes. However, since the server is 15+, he ended up making jokes in front of multiple minors while being 19 at the time. I, myself, had to go through Squirrel's DMs and tell him not to joke about that in front of minors.
So, he made sexual jokes around minors. Okay? Really, is he sending porn to minors? Is he pressuring minors into saying sexual things? No? Then I don't really care. Also, this isn't really him joking about a character's genital size. The joke here seems to be that it seems like he's going to say something sexual, but he's actually not.
I stopped supporting Twisted Doctor and his content for good in July of 2022 by quitting Patreon and leaving the new Discord server because it gave me really bad memories and how it deteriorated over time. And now, looking back at how he treated my friends and loved ones who were also his supporters and friends was terrible. I can't handle being in a community where people aren't treated right because of their background. And worse, it kept up leading to various bizarre interactions with them, whether it was about fetishes, NSFW, or plain up bigotry like transphobia or racism. While I was in Mystery Stomach server, I was in a voice call with Squill on April 15th, 2018. A couple of others roughly around the same age as me were a year older. I was 13 in the voice call in 2018 with Squill, who was 16 then. I asked him as a joke to draw my character getting vored by his character, Mystery Burns, for which he offered roughly $20. I assumed he sent me his PayPal through direct messages or in the voice call chat, but I do remember paying through PayPal, and instead I paid $1 because I didn't have enough money at the time since I was young and didn't have a part-time job. When he drew it, I was shocked, but at the time laughed along as everyone else did in the voice call. Squill then posted the drawing on Tumblr, which is now deleted, but I have the picture saved after a day of drawing it, and later reblogged it on his old art archive. This can be seen here.
So you, a minor, commissioned a slightly older minor to draw vor art, and apparently that makes him bad. Oh my god, this is so dumb. This isn't shown directly in the card, but in the first document link, it shows the artwork in question, which has the character blurred out, meaning this doesn't prove shit. This art could have been of anyone, but because we can't see the character, it doesn't actually prove anything. This is the issue with these users wanting to remain anonymous. If they remained anonymous, you can't fucking prove anything.
Though I don't actually have screenshots of this happening, I do remember it happening inside of Triple Threats in 2019. I remember him explicitly asking if necrophilia was consensual or not, and everyone started to talk about it back then. It was off-putting by him bringing up the topic to the table. I was shocked. I wasn't sure if it was related to his character Mystery, but who knows. As well as that, I do remember him talking about vor a lot back then in the group chat and in his private server. He ended up drawing vor of my friends a couple of times and even talking about it, looking back at it today. I'm not sure if it was a joke or something he was actually into, but again, I'm not entirely sure. The effect of Bones talking about vor also made some of my mutuals draw vor as well, especially myself. When there was an NSFW channel present on his old server in late 2018, I would often participate in drawing NSFW for him just to get approval of him. He didn't stop me. This was also before the 15+ rule was implemented and the new server was made, so plenty of kids under 18 saw this channel. It was not private, the channel was public. Here are pieces of art drawn by Squill, including my friends' characters. All have been blocked out for privacy.
And here is the art that's shown. Again, the characters are censored, so this doesn't prove shit. This could be of literally anyone.
A day after Anon had released their document, Bones' private Twitter account, which was listed in the document, was later changed to mock Anon for coming out after Bones had threatened them not to. They both have the same join date, same following plus followers, and same @. After we found that his account was mocking Parappa, he had changed it again and kept it this way for less than a week. Keep in mind he puts communication is key in his location. Update, November 23rd, 2022. An Anon account has come forward debunking Parappa's lies and abusive behaviors towards an ex-partner. This document can be found here.
Now, this is when the documents that were shown at the beginning of the section become kind of important. Now, the second doc that was shown at the beginning of the section we know is from Parappa, despite it saying that it's from an anonymous person. How do we know that? Because they were name dropped not only by Bones, but also by the card itself. Now, there's a claim that is made in the second document that was not shown in the card. It discusses how there was a private Discord server that this person, some others, and Bones had called The Symptoms. The document claims that in this server, he talked about his masturbation habits when he was 19, and the people in the server were 16 to 17 years old. They show no actual proof of this behavior, despite being able to show proof that they were in fact in the server. Now, as you can see here in the November 23rd update, there's a document linked that is basically exposing Parappa for their actions. It says the following.
Secondly, Parappa talks about an unrelated incident that happened in another server that allegedly caused Bones to have a breakdown in a call with him and 2 other minors, resulting in Bones talking about how he would masturbate to a ship of 2 versions of the same character of his, Mystery and Pastry. This is just a straight-up lie, and frankly very disgusting that Parappa would so freely spread around such a personal piece of information. Allegedly said during a movement of vulnerability, if said piece of information was actually true in the first place. For the sake of clarity, I was actually given permission by Bones himself to share this. He did not engage in at the time, since he was extremely repulsed by the thought of it, and even if he did, he wouldn't have mentioned it in front of minors to begin with. That covers also the fact that Bones would have allegedly talked about sexual stuff with server members, which wouldn't be possible since, as already stated, sex repulsed at the time.
And while this can also be taken with a grain of salt since there's no actual evidence to this claim, there is evidence of the NSFW channel talked about in the doc being for talking about non-sexual adult topics, and that, in fact, the other members specifically excluded Parappa from the channel because of their age. My point here is that the card cites a doc and then later cites another doc that claims the first doc to be lies, and we're supposed to take anything this card says seriously? You're actively spreading around a doc that has factually false information and also has shit that just doesn't have any fucking evidence to it. What the fuck?
The mention of Muggsy Mayhem has been removed after the request of the second Anon to do so. I in no way meant to pin blame directly on Muggsy. It was more of a speculation out of paranoia. Either way, I'm sorry and taking responsibility by removing the mention and speculation. As of today, Twisted Doctor has decided to flee Twitter for good. His excuse is Elon Musk, but the Twitter shutdown fear-mongering took place a week before he decided to pack up and leave. He also edited his private account once again. The link on his account leads to the Anon post mentioned earlier. Bones has caused suicide scares before, according to an anonymous source, even once disappearing for 3 days before coming back okay and alive.
Which you don't show any fucking proof of, so I don't care.
Thanks to other outside sources besides the secondary Anon, no one who has helped with this card wants any affiliation with Parksker. A former friend and former exes came forward about a document highlighting Parappa's abusive behavior and constant lying besides the Twisted Doctor situation.
If you don't want anything to do with Parappa, why are you citing Parappa as a source, especially because they're not a very reliable source, seeing as the shit they say has no evidence and at least one of the things they said has been disproven? Also, if Parappa's other behavior has nothing to do with Bones, why is it important? Why does it need to be here?
Since I used to have business relations with Parappa, he knows I am the sole creator of this card. I am slightly paranoid my identity will be leaked. I will take any action to prevent that from happening. Aside from Parappa's controversy, Twisted Doctor has finally made a statement saying he will address his silence in hopes to bring some relief to the victims. Here's the kicker. This comment was on a video from 4 months ago on his secondary YouTube channel. After posting a new video on his main, he's been receiving backlash on his most recent video on his secondary. Update 12/11/2022. He also had to update the description on his pretty cunt meme due to recent backlash. We'll be explaining the reason behind my silence, plus a statement about many things soon. I don't know how soon, but I hear you and hope I can bring some closure/relief.
Oh hey, that's Cable Gore. That's the friend of the person I exposed for being pro-self-harm and pro-eating disorder and encouraging people to self-harm. Huh. We live in a small world, I guess.
This video has nothing to do with the events on the internet. It is an event about current feelings of chronic boredom with life that got me near an attempt of, I didn't want to put this in the description, but it got brought to my attention that people have been speculating about that. It's personal IRL stuff. After the whole controversy in 2021, Twisted Doctor has turned off all comments across all his social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, etc. He's seemingly been more worried about himself being harassed rather than his victims.
Literally, what victims? The people he made sexual jokes towards? The person who freaked out at him for saying something racist even though he apologized after multiple times? Who are the victims here? Literally nothing in this section was even close to grooming. Literally nothing. This is all such bullshit, I swear. While I won't be talking too much about his apology, I will be touching on one thing. The full apology will be linked in the description, and I do recommend you read it. You know, when I said earlier that there's a possibility that they could have been supporting rape content because they were being influenced by adults? Yeah, I was right. So the card is victim blaming. How fucking fun. So, here's a recap of what Bones has done so far that has either been directly proven or heavily implied to be true. 1. He fetishized and made light of rape from the ages of 13 to 16. 2. He drew non-con art of his OCs when he was 16. 3. He said the N-word and made racist jokes when he was 19, apologized for it privately 3 times, and apologized for it publicly once, not including the apology card, and donated to a black civil rights organization to make up for what he did. 4. Made sexual jokes around minors. Oh no, guys! The fucking horror! Cancel them! Murder them! Oh yeah, and then there's this part of the card, which I did not care enough to read. This is literally the same recycled, I used to be a fan, but then I found out about some bad stuff you did. Bullshit that I see with literally every single person who gets exposed for anything on the internet. It's so fucking stupid. Nobody gives a shit. The person who you're directing it to doesn't give a shit. Even I've had it said about me, I used to be a fan of Mushroom Girl, but then Mushroom Girl did something bad, and I'm just like, nobody gives a shit. Like, really, like, I honestly, seeing as this person is making false fucking grooming accusations, yeah, I don't really care about their feelings right now. Fuck off. Seriously. Fuck off. This is a stupid fucking card. It's so fucking stupid. This whole situation could have genuinely been completely solved if everyone in this situation was just a little more mature. I've been genuinely avoiding this situation for months. I did not want to look at it. I didn't want to look at the claims just because I didn't want to find out that somebody who I thought was super cool was like a legitimate racist and groomer. So I just fucking ignored it. I wanted to be blissfully unaware. And then I finally decided when somebody came to me and was like, hey, talk about the situation. I was like, sure, let me go look into it. And I realized that all of it was bullshit. I had a massive sigh of relief, but was also extremely fucking angry that people were spreading around serious shit that was clearly fucking false. Like, God, it's just so, this entire situation is bullshit. It really is. I've said that like 100 times, but this situation is just bullshit. But I guess that's it for me. I guess that's all I have to say. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope I, taught some people about the situation. Goodbye.